What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Keep It Kula Podcast. My name is Jaclyn. Cousin Owen here is joining us today. It's been a few days since the Blue Jays lost Game 7 of the World Series. You and I were texting and said you want to come on the pod. You couldn't do it yet, and I understand. I filmed it 15 minutes after watching our team lose. And it was emotional. It's doing really well right now on the channel. Got a lot of nice comments from Dodgers fans, from baseball fans, a lot of trolling comments too, don't get me wrong, but the outpour has been really, really great, and the sincere comments. I'm feeling better today. It's Tuesday, so definitely feeling a little bit better than I did Sunday and Monday. Couldn't watch highlights, couldn't even look at a picture of the Blue Jays without getting emotional. Owen, man, how are you feeling? How do you feel, man, after the most devastating Game 7 loss of all sports history?
Yeah, so I'll compare it to another loss I had. As the podcast knows, as you know, Jaclyn, I'm a big Habs fan. 99% of the time behind me is my Habs stuff. But right now I'm just in a different location. It's just easier to kind of sit here. So usually I got my Habs gear right behind me as we do our podcast. I saw the Habs face the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Stanley Cup in 2021, just around COVID when COVID was kind of finishing. We lost in 5 games, got smoked. Was it painful, Jaclyn? Yes. I'm a bigger Habs fan than a Jays fan. I got to tell you, Jaclyn, the pain wasn't even close. Even though I'm a much bigger Habs fan than Jays fan, the Jays was way worse. So it kind of shows when you have a really close, tight, contested series, one of the greatest games of all time in Game 7, it makes it more painful. The Habs got destroyed by Tampa Bay, if you remember. We lost in five
Yep.
games.
Yep.
We lost most of the games handily. They were by far the better team. We had no shot, and it was painful, but it was like, okay, we didn't even deserve to make the finals necessarily. We made it. It was a great run, and we got destroyed. This was like, I would prefer the same thing, Jacqueline. Take the Jays out in 4 or 5 and let the misery end. It was, yeah. I mean, listen, I've seen the Giants win the Super Bowl, Raptors win. I don't. I've never had anything come close to this. There was multiple times I thought they won the slide IKF, Ernie with the big, against the wall. Like there was multiple times I thought they won the World Series, which is a crazy thing to even come out of my mouth. So how do I feel? It's extremely painful. I had a few adult beverages, and I was ready to really down them. If IKF's called safe, I'm downing them, right?
We had
So
champagne in the house. Yeah, we were.
yeah, I mean, it was going to be one of the greatest nights in Toronto history. Um, I feel like in a way I've been a little bit lucky. So the last 2 days I've had 12-hour shifts at work. Monday and Tuesday I work 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I am absolutely exhausted right now, and probably going to get to bed sooner than later. But in a way, it's like I almost was forced to just be busy and doing work stuff. So Sunday was awful. Like Sunday, I woke up at 5 a.m. Like hours later, like feeling dread and feeling like I was saying to my family, I've felt dread. We can all relate to this. You felt dread over exams. You feel dread over work. I've never woke up in the middle of the night feeling dread about sports. I actually woke up at 5 a.m. like feeling pain in my heart about how they lost that game.
So this might be a crazy take, and people might call me crazy, but the way I felt Sunday morning was how I felt after a breakup.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's far off. I think the big part of the pain, though, Jacqueline, look, if they lost in four, you'd be devastated, but it's like, okay, we just weren't on the same level. We were up 3-2. Both the games we lost were like devastating, horrible losses. Game 7, the home run in the ninth and the home run in the 11th. I mean, it doesn't get worse. Um, I don't think you'll see worse. The sad thing for me, Jacqueline, is like it's baseball. It's unpredictable. Who knows when they get back? And I know we can sit here and speculate and say, "Oh, what do they have Bo and this guy and Vlad?"
Yeah.
But it's baseball, and year to year, guys get hurt, and it's a long season, and they might not make the playoffs next year. So it's quite devastating. I have no clue when they'll be back. I hope they make the playoffs next year and just give us a shot to even play in October. Um, I do think like it's one of those losses the city will never forget, the athletes will never forget. Like it's something that you'll never get over. Even like Eagles Chiefs when the Chiefs beat the Eagles a few years back in that really close, devastating game. Even
Mhm.
though the Eagles just got their revenge, the Eagles players on that specific team will never forget it. If you remember, it was like end of game. There was penalty, right? It was like a 2 point.
In
You know what I'm
2023,
talking about,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Or even like Malcolm Butler, Seahawks, Patriots. If you're
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, you'll never forget that. Or Marshawn Lynch, right? So there's some losses that are just extremely, extremely painful. And for me, I mean, that's the worst loss I've ever taken of any of the teams I support. I thought we were going to be on here, Jaclyn, Sunday, talking about how you're shaving my head, the parade. Like I thought I was going to be telling you how like my head is hurting from the adult beverages. Like that, I thought that's the road we were going down, and
Me too.
it wasn't meant to be, Jaclyn.
Yeah, you know what I was man, it's like today's the first day where I can actually talk about it, I feel, without like my heart hurting me, like being in pain. Like I was talking to my friend the other day. I'm like, when am I gonna start to feel better? I'm like, this shouldn't be happening to us. Like this is sports. Like it's not real life. Yes, we know that. But when you become like obviously you know how I've felt about this team since the beginning of the year, like you become attached to the players, to the fan base, to the atmosphere, and just like the itch of winning. And it's the worst though is how it happened. As you said, if we got blown out in 4 games, okay, historic year. It wasn't gonna happen. It was the Dodgers, the $1 billion Dodgers. Like wasn't gonna happen. But we were 2 outs away in Game 7 of winning the World Series. Um, Nothing will heal that. I don't think. I don't think anything will heal. Like when I close my eyes, I see Rojas hitting the home run. I see I see Ernie with that monster of a hit that gets caught by Pajes running into Hernandez. I see IKF's foot at the plate with Will Smith's then coming down right before it happened. I see Kirk's bat breaking in half for a double play. I see Varsho not able to just get at least a sac fly. I can't get these images out of my head. Ernie Clement crying post game, while the other guys are already in their clothes, dressed, showered, all that. Ernie is still in his uniform with his eye black and his ripped up pants and his whatever, his cleats on. That doesn't go away. And I said I felt better today. It all comes back to me now talking about it. Like I feel like since Sunday morning or Saturday night, it's felt like the Sunday night blues. You would get that before school. Like I would get that all the time. That's what it feels like. Also, the time change just happened. It's freezing cold now. It's dark at 4 o'clock. It all just feels like crashing down on us, and it's gonna be hard to get over this, but we will. And I'm gonna find the silver lining in this, Owen, because the theme of this podcast practically is me being the overly positive person of the show. And when the Jays were bad, I said they're gonna be good, and then like they were. So here's my overly positive take. Let's say the Jays won Saturday night. Amazing, unreal. We get a party, celebrations for the next month. We go to the parade. I get to shave your head. It's awesome. But let's say we never win again. Now, because we lost, there's so much more fuel for this team, and likely going to keep most of the guys around. We win next year, we win the year after that, and we build a dynasty because of the pain. That is my crazy, overly positive take, but I am going to use that as the silver
I,
lining to continue.
let me say this, Jaclyn. An aggressive take by you to just call back to back
Yeah.
with, I don't want to say anecdotally. I mean, we have the players there, but aggressive take. I do believe in the next few years they'll be back in the playoffs, and they can definitely go on more runs. And it seemed like they turned a corner this year. They learned how to win in the playoffs. They came up big. George Springer, Ernie Clement, Vladdy, Kirk, etc. Um, I think they'll be competitive the next few years. You know what, Jaclyn? I honest to God, and I'm not trying to be negative, but the theme between me and you is you're more positive, I'm a little more negative. It's a good balance. It's almost a great balance,
Right.
right?
It's perfect. Yeah.
I don't. There's no silver lining. I believe there's sometimes in sports where there just isn't a silver lining, right? So the if you are the Seahawks after losing to the Patriots, there's no silver lining. You should have ran the freaking ball. You're the Jays. You shouldn't have given up a home run in the ninth. There's no when it's so close and you have that advantage, slight advantage. You just and you're up 3-0. Bo Bichette, tears in my eyes. I'm sorry, there's just no, and I understand, and you know what? Even if they do win back to back, that'd be unbelievable. But they're still like, okay, well, it should have been three. Like, I don't know. I just to me,
Yeah,
it's a type of loss I don't think I'll ever truly get over.
we won't.
If they win next year, of course, that makes it a lot better. But and it'd be amazing, and that's back to back championship appearances.
Yeah.
Um, I guess the slightest silver lining, and when I say slightest, Jacqueline, I mean like 0.0001 silver lining is like I could feel good about how I predicted the series. I said Dodgers in seven,
True.
and that's not
Yeah,
much. And by
true.
the way, I wish I was wrong. I wish I was wrong. I take no
Yeah,
pleasure in that.
I
But I'm
know.
just saying, it feels good to at least be like, oh, I was right about one thing, you know.
I hear you.
Um,
I hear you.
all those clowns who are like Dodgers in four, Dodgers in five. I was like, no, I knew my Jays were a good team, and I knew we were going to push seven at least, right? So at least
Yeah.
I could say wasn't one of those clowns who thought we were going to get clapped. But
I
yeah, I
wish
mean,
we were. I wish we did.
well,
You know.
I tell you, it would have been a lot better if we lost in four or five, even six too. But I mean,
I just we lost this in the worst way possible, being down two
yeah,
outs, having endless attempts to win at the bottom of every inning practically.
yeah,
Um, like there's just no more painful way to lose in sports. Like I remember after the loss, I'm trying to find, oh yeah, like other teams have gone through this, I'm sure, and I'm trying to think of like, oh yeah, like other teams have done this and then they'll bounce back. No one has this brutal. Like you compare the Seahawks or like the Falcons, you like with blowing the lead, but nothing compares to just being two outs away
I
from
I
from winning.
I will say Jacqueline 20-3 is the worst loss in sports history. If I'm a Falcons fan and the Falcons don't win, that's like suicide watch. Not to make light of mental health or whatever. I know this is a kid friendly podcast, but people say that in sports terms always on suey
Of
watch.
course.
I mean, there's no I will tell you that's far worse. That's like the Jays being up in the ninth 6-1 or five
Yeah.
one or so I will tell you 20 to
Yeah.
3 is far worse. That is the worst loss I've ever seen. Um,
Yeah.
Ours was bad, but for sure the worst sports I think in his sports history. I don't think you can really compare 20-3. It was a.
However, we did think that we won the World Series at one point, though, with IKF's foot,
I
or
know
Ernie's pop
I
up that
I agreed, but the
Falcons
difference
made
is
halftime.
I will tell you the difference is we weren't up 6-0 or 6-1 and
Yeah,
being like get the party going like I'm already downtown. Like
yeah,
it was always even 3-0 is within striking distance, right?
yeah,
So
100%.
so 20-3 is the worst I've ever seen, but this is right up there. I mean, this is top five, top 10 worst loss I've ever seen, probably top five. A lot of for some reason football seems to be a lot of the worst ones. Maybe because
Yeah,
football is such a game of inches and it's do or die one game.
100%.
Um, I mean, look, I don't want to change the topic too much.
Yeah,
It's devastating. It's horrible. If you want some positive news on a different note, still sports related, of course.
yeah.
Two things. One, I am going to Leafs Habs November 22nd in Montreal for my birthday.
Oh
So
my, your birthday's coming up in two days. We have it in.
my birthday's coming up in an hour and 30 minutes,
What day is it? Oh
November
shoot, it's
5th.
the fifth.
So
Yes.
birthday's in an hour. Birthday's in an hour and a half. So with
I
my
thought
girlfriend,
the fifth was Friday, was Thursday.
no,
My bad, my
fifth
bad.
Wednesday. So with my girlfriend in a couple weeks, we're going to Montreal, and actually even more exciting, Jacqueline. Literally, I just got the ticket transfer from the person I bought the tickets from like 5 minutes ago. That's what I was just dealing with. Literally just
Okay,
got the tickets, so I officially got tickets. So I'm off to Montreal, Leafs Habs. It'll be a great game.
be awesome.
So I'm excited for that. And my Habs, listen, my Habs look good. I don't know if you've seen
Habs have
their
looked good. Leafs have been
not
bad. Well, Leafs have
ninth.
been
The
interesting.
Habs are 9-3-1. We lost in a shootout tonight, so we have 9 wins, 3 losses, one overtime slash shootout loss. So we've looked great. So that's another silver lining for me. I will say, Jacqueline, like I've been telling myself, well, I love my Habs more and my Giants more. My Habs look like they could be a legitimate contender. So to be honest, like they always say, if you want to get over a sports loss, you turn to the next sport. So our Giants are terrible, and we could talk Giants if you'd like, but
Mm,
just quick, the Giants are terrible.
yeah.
My Habs look fantastic though, so I'm actually excited about what the Habs can do, and maybe they can make a deep run for me. So
Yeah, you know what? Like I'm trying to like get into the other sports right now, and it's so difficult because baseball is the
yeah,
most grueling sport of them all. It's 162 games in the regular season, right?
yeah,
It's like you have to live and die with that team kind of from the jump, and it's so exhausting. So I like I'm having a hard time like being like
switching.
I couldn't really watch football on Sunday. Like I was too devastated. I watched like Red Zone at 4 like at the end of the 1 o'clock games kind of thing. Like I genuinely
Yeah,
could not watch. I watched a little bit of Raptors tonight. They're actually looking pretty good. Blew out the Milwaukee Bucks. So Raptors are interesting, and then yeah, with hockey, it's like the Leafs are they're really having trouble finding their identity, I guess. But with the Jays, it's like I don't know how I'm gonna fully move on. Like I think it's gonna be game one of 2026. Like genuinely opening day. I think that's when I'm gonna start feeling better just to see those guys play again because it's it's just weird. Like obviously the season would have ended regardless if we won or not. But the fact that it's over and we don't have anything to show for it other than obviously winning the division and winning the ALCS and all that, and so those are those things, but we don't get the parade. We don't get the merchandise that I was gonna splurge on like crazy. Like, we don't get those moments of getting to see Springer ride that horse. Like, we're missing those moments. And so I'm missing baseball so much right now. I watched Moneyball tonight actually for the first time. Didn't love it. Sorry. Sorry to all the baseball fans out there. Was not a fan of Moneyball at all. I think it just made me more sad about the Blue Jays and stuff on honestly, but genuinely I think the way to get over it is yeah, get back into your sports if you can fully do it, but also find a silver lining. And I think that is say that this loss meant something and made this team better for whatever reason, and that we can
I,
become better than we ever would have been if we won
I
Saturday night.
I know you're saying you're hoping that there's in some way they're better from this or they can take something from this.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know because the truth, Jaclyn, is like what are they gonna take? Like okay, they let's say they win the World Series, right? They win it in 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Okay, they're champions. They can take now the winning culture. Like, what are they taking? Like, they're taking how to close a game 7 next year. I don't know. And again, I appreciate your optimism, Jacqueline. I really do appreciate your optimism. I think it's why people love your podcast. It's endearing. It's fun. You so so much negativity in sports. I think it's fantastic that you are positive. But it's like, what's the tweak or what's the thing? Oh, so
Yeah.
next time, boys, we make it to game 7 of the World Series against the Dodgers, we're gonna make sure we're up by more than 3. Like, I don't really see what they're gonna
And
take. Maybe
for me, yeah.
I was gonna say
Go
maybe
ahead.
fuel. Maybe it's just fuel. Maybe it's just
Yeah.
fuel is what they have.
I that's how I think, and I think big names are going to want to come play in Toronto because they realize the kind of market that we have here, right? We have the greatest fan base, we have the best stadium in the world, we have like guys love this team, guys want to play with Vladdy, right? Then that's like the biggest thing too. Vladdy's here for 14 more years, guys want to play with Vladdy, so I think we're going to get names that want to be a part of this culture, want to because all you hear about this team is the friendship, right? They're winning because of the power of friendship, right? The power of friendship almost beat $1 billion team. And I'm not saying the Jays don't have money; they're the fifth or fourth highest paid team, but the power of friendship is what made this team so special and what made people fall in love with the Blue Jays, right? It's one thing to have a great team. Like when the Raptors were won the championship, it was amazing, but people did not necessarily fall in love with these guys. The Blue Jays side, people are in love with this team. People are emotional seeing Ernie Clement cry, who didn't watch baseball until 2 weeks ago. So many of my friends didn't care a thing about baseball are now texting me that they're really upset still about the Jays losing and seeing Ernie cry. Like, this team means so much more. I think that you and I have watched sports all our lives. I have never loved a roster this much, loved every guy in that lineup this much. And I think that's what's going to change the way that people see this Toronto and guys who want to sign here. Like, if they have a lot of character and a lot of personality, we're going to want them here.
I'll give you another, and I appreciate what you're saying, and I agree. And we could attract free agents. I think that's a really good point I didn't think of. I'm going to give you another really big issue that's
Mm-hmm.
sort of undeniable. George Springer's only getting older. He's was very injured this year. You don't know how he's going to be next year. And I don't want to hear, well, look, they missed Springer and they won those games. And no, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
man. George Springer was the identity of his baseball team.
I'm
So
so
I'm going
sad.
to tell you this right now, Jacqueline. He's only getting older. He was very hurt this year. I'm not saying he won't be great next year. There's a big chance he drops down to like 270 hitting, like
Yeah,
20, 22 home runs. Like, there's a huge chance that all his numbers drop, and no one would be that shocked about it. I see just a lot of issues. There was a lot of stuff that made this team special. Even the guys who weren't like the best, there was something special even about the Schneiders and the IKFs and Jimenez. And it's just, you don't know if some of those guys are going to have the same mustard next year.
yeah,
And specifically, the best player on our team this year was not Vladdy, it was Springer. Anyone who followed any bit of the season who's not a 2 week bandwagon, like you said, will know that he's been very hurt, Springer, especially in the playoffs.
yeah.
And I don't think it's crazy to think there's a drop in production, which also can mean a few games that were wins this year or losses. Maybe Vladdy steps up and for some
Yeah.
of that loss. But I'm just saying, again, look, do I think this team can make the playoffs in the next 2-3 years? Maybe once or two. Like, yes, I think. Do I think they can make the playoffs next year? Of course. But it's very difficult to do what they did to make it back again, to get up the mountain, right? And then you get to the top of the mountain, it's not like you're guaranteed to win either. So we've seen the Oilers. They could get back again and then lose again. Like the Oilers did it back. So, it's one of those things where you really just have to get it done. You had your opportunity. You really just have to find a way, and they didn't. And look, that's life, and it's okay. And look, if you're a player, Jaclyn, here's the God's honest truth. They're all millionaires, or most of them are millionaires. Trey Savage will be a millionaire. Most of them have decent families, kids. Most of them have girlfriends, wives. Only point being is they have nice families. They're gonna be okay. For the fans, most of the fans will be okay. It's
Mhm.
you're in Toronto, you're in a good city, you're in a good country. Hopefully, you're in a good position. So everyone, for the most part, will be okay. It is just sports, like you said, but
Yeah.
on a sports level, it's quite devastating, and it's not something I think we'll ever forget about. And the only upside I see, I'm not going to go as far as you with the back to back or any of this, which I think is crazy. I'll
Yeah, of
just say
course.
it's fuel. It's just fuel. If they make the playoffs next year, they're going to be a little bit hungrier, right? If they make it back next year, they're locked in on every pitch. And they're doing everything they can to bring this country a championship. Versus if they made the playoffs next year, not that they're not giving it their all, but it's like, well, we already won a championship, so let's go out and have fun. But you know what? If we don't win, we don't win because we just won last year.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the feeling. The feeling is like if they make the playoffs, they're a team of desperation.
I think next year is definitely it's gonna be the biggest year. I think the tickets are gonna be crazy expensive. So listen, so be it. If your team is great, so be it. I'll spend the money if you can. Obviously, I'd rather watch from home with a great team than watch be in the stadium and see a terrible team. Obviously, but I think next year is gonna be the most happening we will ever see Rogers Center be. We're going to see the real fans come out too, not the bandwagon. Like, people are real fans now because of this, even with them losing. People fell in love with this team. So people are going to be at these games no matter
Yeah.
what. I think
Yeah.
we're going to see a real identity shift. And listen, you have to find a way to get over a heartbreak. And I think the way to move on is you got to find a silver lining somehow. And you got to be hopeful for the future of what this team can hopefully do. And, going into this, we have free agency begins in 2 days, which is bonkers to me. We don't know if we're going to keep Bo. Bo wants to stay. What do you think it does to the identity of this team if Bo leaves?
Yeah, so I see another big problem, right? Bo's gonna want 300 million. So Bo wants a lot of money. I don't know if we're keeping him. Look, I think it's terrible. I think Bo's someone who can play second base.
Yeah.
So where he can play somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's bad. I think he's one of the best players on this team. Went through times where he's hurt this year, but also was great at times this year. So I think it's brutal. He's a good, really, he's a young, really good player. Um, I think if you consider Jaclyn losing Bo and then consider Springer dropping off next year, this team can have some serious offensive struggles. I think we need
Yeah.
Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
That's another guy. If he's healthy, even if Springer's worse, okay, at least
Yeah.
Bo fills in a bit, right? So look, what do I think it does to the culture identity? I think it's awful. I think if Springer uh, goes back down to earth and we lose Bo Bichette, I mean, this team, it's a team that could be in trouble. Maybe we don't make playoffs. Like, I really think we got to find a way to keep Bo and then
Yeah.
hope Springer can be good enough with Vladdy's makeup and production. You assume Vladdy can hit 30 to 35 if he's playing better ball. It's
Yeah.
probably enough to hopefully be competitive, right? But if you think about it, Jacqueline, if you're honest with yourself, if you're really honest with yourself, we lose Bo Bichette, Springer goes back down to earth. Am I crazy in saying we don't even make playoffs? If both
Yeah.
those things happen,
I'm gonna say yeah, because we've seen all year that even when our guys are not playing well at all, like when Springer was out and Vladdy couldn't hit a damn ball, we saw guys show up who don't, like an Ernie who was a nobody a year ago, who's now has every record in the MLB for postseason hits and consecutive hits.
sure.
Right? We had someone like David Schneider show up. We had someone like Joey Loperfido, who didn't even get a play really at all in the postseason, who had some huge hits in the regular season. I think the identity of this team is showing up for the guys when they can't do it themselves. Remember, Varsho missed half the season, I think, right? Maybe even more. This team will rally with whoever's not putting their everything in it, those guys will put in 210% instead of 100%.
I
So I believe that if Springer goes back down to earth, Vladdy will be the best self that he will ever be, better than his 2021, 2022 self.
I I agree with you to a degree, Jaclyn. This team there's tight knit friendships, strong identity. They play for each other. They play for the name on the front, not the name on the back. I completely agree with all that. My only saying is on a realistic, on a game, on a pure skill, I'm trying to say this properly, with just pure in terms of just talent and skill and
Mhm.
playing the game, you need still some of those great players. And if Springer's worse and you lose Bo, that's two of your best guys. So I understand they
Yeah.
still have talent, they
Yeah.
still have Vladdy, you still have Ernie, you still have Kirk, but you're just significantly worse than that point. So I think based on if you agree with me that George Springer will be worse next year, and I hope that my hypothesis is wrong, but let's just
Yeah.
say you agree with that, then you should also agree you hope we keep Bo Bichette because that's
Yeah.
another major bat in the lineup. I do believe, Jaclyn, this is my belief, and again, call it negative. I don't know, maybe I'm just more of a realist. We lose Bo Bichette, George Springer plays a lot worse. I don't forget about World Series. I don't know if we make playoffs, and that's the God's honest truth.
Yeah.
Because Bo Bichette's great, George Springer's great. If George Springer is very good or just good and not great, or not phenomenal, I could even say. If he's
Mhm.
good and not phenomenal, and you lose Bo Bichette, I don't know if we make playoffs. Maybe we still do make playoffs, but it's a much harder path. So I'll say it now: must keep him. I personally think must keep him. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he's reasonable in what he wants.
Yeah.
Um,
Listen, Rogers made a ton of money with this postseason run, right? They made unworldly money, I would assume.
yeah,
They're gonna have the money to pay Bo, and problem though is that Bo's gonna want the shortstop money, but I think we're gonna want to keep him as a second baseman.
yeah.
I think though that they are gonna do everything they can to keep him, and I think Bo truly wants to be here because he wants to play with Vladdy for his career. He said it before; they've been together since for several years before even becoming a Blue Jay in the majors. Right? They came up with John Schneider as their manager. He wants to be here, but he also knows that his bat is worth a lot of money, right? Seeing him hit a 3-run home run in Game 7 of the World Series, which is something I actually have not been able to watch since because it breaks my heart too much that moment now being forgotten, not by us, but will be forgotten in the MLB history. I can't even watch that moment anymore because it was one of the greatest moments of my life,
I,
which is
I
taken
mean,
away. But I think a moment like that and the way he shows up, being the best hitter in the MLB, he's gonna deserve a lot of money, and I think the Jays are gonna give it to him.
what's so interesting about what you just said, Jacqueline, is it's the biggest, most clutch home run in MLB history that's erased, right? So like it's I mean, you have an argument to say in a game 7 and it's 3 runs, so it's not it's not a solo or even 2 runs, it's three
Yeah,
run blast. So you have an argument to make that it's the most clutch home run in the history of baseball if they convert and win. Because they lose, it's erased, right? It's almost irrelevant, that home run.
yeah,
So I'm with you. It's too painful to watch. It's the second biggest home run in Jays history, but yet we'll always look at Springer above, right? If the Jays win, it's clear. Carter, Bichette, Springer. Now in my mind, it's Carter, Springer, Bichette.
Springer,
Like
Bichette,
I
yeah.
flip because
Well,
Springer likes to win.
Bautista, I would say Bautista's over Bichette as well.
So right, so think if you think about it, Jacqueline, it would go Carter, Bichette, Springer, Bautista. Now you have Carter, Springer, Bautista, Bichette
Bichette,
by
yeah,
no fault of his own. By
yeah.
no fault of his own, but because they lost the game. So I agree. I don't want to watch that home run.
Yeah, I
It's
can. I
too
will.
painful.
I will eventually. I've been able to watch some like clips now without wanting to like on TikTok. Like people are making their like little like
Yeah,
montages. I would like skip it right away. Now I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I'm gonna watch. Like I'm gonna feel. It's like we
sure.
have to move on, but it's gonna stick with us forever. And it's like yeah, like and also all the wives and girlfriends have been posting these like beautiful little essays about the year, and it's so nice. And David Schneider wrote the nicest thing today as well on Instagram, which my friend DM me being like, okay, now I'm gonna cry. Like it's every single thing is gonna hit you, and I think that's also what makes this season so beautiful, where it's like, and that's the thing too. Like I know this season was snatched away from us when we were just 2 outs away from winning it. but still this season will go down as the greatest of my lifetime. And do you remember when I posted during the summer that this team will be remembered forever? And you're like, I don't think so. Like, you have to win the World Series. I still think this team will be remembered forever in Blue
No, no,
Jays.
no,
You remember the
no.
15-16 team. This team, so I was
Jaclyn,
right on that. Yeah, so
you were on the money.
yeah, this team will be remembered forever. I had some of the most fun moments of my life being at these games, seeing Springer's grants, like being at the, I went to 11 games and saw 11 wins. I was at the only World Series win in Toronto. I was at game one of the World Series. Listen, the Blue Jays may have fumbled the bag, not sending me to game 7, right? I wasn't going to pay
I know.
$20,000.
The problem,
Um,
the problem is, John, sorry to cut you off your joke. They should have just given you free tickets and let you just. They would have won if you're there. They would have won. So
of
you're
course,
right.
of course.
20 racks is actually they would take the 20 rack loss for you to be there and win the world championship, right?
100%.
The
They
sad thing, Jack.
fumbled it.
The sad thing is this team will be remembered forever. But I'm going to correct you a little bit, Jaclyn. And this is sad, and you might disagree with me. In a lot of ways, Jaclyn, they'll be remembered forever for all the wrong reasons. For hitting a 3-run home run and then giving up a bunch of solo shots and one in the 9th inning and then in the 11th. So in some ways, Jaclyn, they'll be remembered for all the wrong reasons. They won't be remembered for Varsho, for Ernie, for Kirk, for IKF, for him. And they won't be remembered for Springer. In some ways, Jaclyn, they'll be remembered as the team that was up 3-2 and had a very painful Game 7 loss. And I'm telling you, Jaclyn, people remember the big things, right? People remember the okay, I'll give you a perfect example, Jaclyn. I just said it to you. You have to remember, Jaclyn, memories fade with time. So I'm going to give you proof of this right now. It wasn't that many years ago, Eagles Chiefs. What did I say to you? I said the
2023.
penalty at the end. I said to you the penalty at the end, right? That's how I described the game. It was a 38-35 game, I think, and the one thing I remember is there was a controversial penalty at the end that went against the Eagles. Sorry, I'm blank for a second. Seahawks Patriots. What do you remember? Malcolm Butler. You remember that big eclipsing, like that encompassing moment.
Yeah.
So you'll remember IKF to the plate. You'll remember the home run in the 9th, the home run 11th. You're not going to remember all the little things.
I disagree because the baseball season is so long. Football, it's different. It's
Hold on.
a couple of weeks football.
Wait, Jack, let me just say this. I'm sorry to interrupt. Even more so. I think you're actually making my point even more solid. It's so long. You don't remember 175 games?
I
How
do.
could you?
I do.
But Jaclyn, hold on, Jaclyn. Can we be fair about this though?
Yeah,
Let's be
go for
really
it.
fair for a second. Be really fair. I'm gonna level with you, and I think you're gonna agree with my point. You're a podcast host who wants to make a living on sports, and a lot of that is covering the Jays. Let's go an average big fan that doesn't do this for a living. You have to replay and talk about this stuff, so it's easier for you to remember. Even an average fan or a big fan will just remember the big moments because memories fade. 5-10 years later, you'll remember the great run.
There were so
But
many great moments, though. That's the thing that are bigger than the loss.
I know. But when you really circle back, especially to the Game 7 of the World Series, that's what you're going to remember. You're going to circle the wagons. Of course, if you're thinking about the rest of the playoffs, Springer's home run, of course, right?
Grand
But
Canada Day Grand Slam, I think, will be remembered forever. Because when if someone
yeah,
meant, like, even now, if someone's like, oh yeah, talk about the 2025 season, I go right back to Canada Day and those red jerseys against the
100%.
Yankees, where we
100%.
swept them. That is not forgotten.
It's not forgotten, but like I said, you're a podcast host who wants to make a living covering this team.
Yeah.
So you're going to remember stuff that a lot of people won't. I will remember big moments too. I'll remember going to the game where we swept the Yankees. I'll remember Varsho's Grand Slam. There's stuff I'll remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vladdy's Grand Slam. There's stuff I'm going to remember, of course. But when you really pinpoint, I'll remember that pain I felt with ICAF. Like, Jackie, that might have been the most painful part. Being that close, his foot's right there. Slide a little bit more. Make a faster slide. Get down, IKF. That pain in my heart is what I'll remember. And it's sad to say that, of course, listen, Jaclyn, of course it was a great team. Of course this team was special. Of course, this is an amazing team that we will remember forever. I agree with you. It will be remembered forever, 100%. But, man, I'll say this, Jaclyn. I hope I never go through more painful loss. Because I can tell you this right now, Jaclyn. The only way it can be more painful is if my Habs make a cup and losing in a painful Game 7. Because seriously, the Jays can't have any more of a painful loss. The
No.
Giants can't have any more of a painful loss. I've seen the Giants win.
Yeah.
Raptors can't. The only way for me personally, if the Habs made a Game 7 and lost in overtime, that's the only way. So may I pray to the sports gods I never have a more painful loss, because I don't want to see the Habs do that.
Yeah.
I do not want to see the Habs do that. I don't want to see the Jays do that again. I also don't want to see the Giants lose in some crazy Super Bowl overtime. Because if the Giants lost in the Super Bowl in overtime, that also would be worse. Can you imagine
I don't
Jackson
think
Dart?
so. I think this hurts more than the Giants because it's our city. It's different.
But hold on a second. You think if Jackson Dart lost in overtime in the Super Bowl, you wouldn't think it's equally as painful? Jackson, I know you love the Giants. You love them. You
I
would
do.
think you, Jackson, you would be depressed for weeks if that happened. Weeks.
I think I listen, this is recency bias too, but I honestly think that this loss will hurt more than if the Giants lose or if the Raptors lose or whatever, because this is our city. This is Toronto. We haven't seen them win the World Series before. I don't think anything will come close in sports to seeing how the Blue Jays lost. I hope I'm right. Obviously, I hope that, we can see the Giants have success and have a dynasty, but no, I think this hurts more. Like, genuinely, this hurts more. But yeah, as you said, like, I haven't seen the Giants in a position like that, so I can't say that. But I still think it's different because it's our city. I think it just changes everything when, like, we live in Toronto, So it comes, like, with your Habs or with the Giants. Like, this is your team. This is our city. We live here. We go to games. Everyone you see walking around has this hat on, has some sort of Jays hat on, right? So I think that changes it a little bit. That's just my opinion. I think, like, listen, if it happens next year and the Giants lose in overtime in the Super Bowl, yeah, I'm sure I would be crushed, and I'm sure it would, like, send me into a dark place for a bit. But I think that this loss is going to be the hardest one in sports history, and I think it could stay like that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Jack, I don't have a ton more to add. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of already mentioned it, but obviously I was just so hoping to have this head smooth, shaved off, clean. I thought it was gonna happen. When it was 3-0, I was like about to text you. We got to figure out. I didn't do it. I didn't want to jinx it. I was about to text you saying, we got to figure out this head shaving. Are we gonna do it on the podcast? Are we not? Obviously now it's not gonna happen, which is fine. I do look back.
Mhm.
I was gonna say I am grateful I never said the tattoo stuff. So I will tell you, I would have really been scared about the tattoo, and I'm happy I didn't have to sweat the
Yeah,
tattoo
that would have
stuff.
been bad.
That would have been bad, but yeah, I mean, honestly, Jaclyn, just to kind of reiterate, like, love this team. I really did love this team. Really started to fall in love, especially your energy got me really more and more and more into it as the year went on and as the summer ramped up into fall. It really started getting exciting, watching every game towards the end. A lot of hopes for next year. We will, we'll see what happens. I just hope. I hope they make the playoffs next year. That honestly, I'm not gonna say anything about even a playoff run. Just I hope they can make the playoffs next year and maybe try to give us a little bit of redemption. But Jaclyn, truly, you are a huge Jays fan. You believed in them the whole way. People memed you, people clowned you, people dunked on you. You were right. You said this team was special. You believed this team could win it all. And while you were technically wrong about that, in 99% of the time, 99% of the time, Jaclyn, you were right about this team, about this team's identity, about this team being special, about this team having the chutzpah, having what it takes to really go all the way. So in a weird way, like, congratulations, like, you were right. You put your money where your mouth was, and you were right about this team. This team was special, and my hope for you, Jaclyn, is they can win in 2026. They can
Crazy
win the
take. I
championship.
know. I know I had a crazy take in that they're going to build a dynasty from this, but you have to believe somehow. You have, like, to do this and talk. Like, listen, I got on the podcast 15 minutes after watching my team lose the World Series. We all just kind of stared at the TV in shock. I didn't really have all the feelings yet. It was just kind of like a numbness. So I went downstairs and I came to film and I kind of just shared my real and raw feelings. And now that I've had, like, a few days, like, so I guess I'm not filming at all where, like, I was in my worst place in the Blue Jays way, because I was definitely Sunday and Monday. I was in, like, I don't know if I can ever talk about this team again. I don't know how I'm ever going to watch sports again. I can't watch highlights of the year. I'm in a better place now. So it's everyone who's going through this Blue Jays heartbreak, because I know if you're watching this, you definitely are feeling it. We will be able to move on. you will start to feel better because you're going to reminisce about the really good stuff that we saw this season because you're not going to forget. I look back at the 2015 season, and the only thing I remember, honestly, is the Bautista bat flip. I don't remember how we lost, honestly. I don't. It was 10 years ago. I forgot about it. It wasn't a devastating loss. I remember the Bautista bat flip. This was a devastating loss, and it's going to stick with you, but you will feel better. You will soon, when you think of it, it will not make you or your chest hurt. You'll think about the positive stuff. You'll think about how we got there, how special this year was, how it made you reconnect with a family member or a friend, or it made you get to the ballpark and connect with the city of Toronto even more, or love your country even more. There's going to be ways that you're going to feel better about this team. So continue, everyone who's listening. The heartbreak will stay, but it'll get easier every day. It's sports at the end of the day, too. We have to remember that life goes on. You know, it's sports, and thankfully, listen, if this is something that's stressing you out and that's the biggest thing on your mind, it's a good thing because it distracts you from real life. Because at the end of the day, sports is not real life for us, but it's something that we love so deeply where it feels like the end of the world when your team loses. And I think that's the beautiful thing about sports and community and connection. So to everyone listening, we will be back. I'm confident in this team. I'm going to continue talking about Blue Jays. Obviously, we have free agency coming up. Lots of big things that I expect to happen with this team, whether it's us signing guys, us not signing guys. You know, that's a whole other question, another discussion that we didn't even talk about here. But there's a lot of stuff coming up, so I'm excited to talk about it. Going to talk about Leafs, Raptors, Giants, Bills, lots of Bills. Obviously, this is a Toronto-based show, and Giants are kind of cooked this year, I would assume. So I think we're both going to go full on Bills, Owen. I think that's like a mutual agreement that we have, going full on Bills.
Yeah, like go Bills, go for sure. I mean, listen, I always Giants first, but
Yeah.
especially when it comes to playoff time, I'm with you for sure. Go Bills. I might be going to a game in the next
Yeah, you
few
told me that. Yeah, yeah,
few
yeah.
few
Should be
weeks,
fun.
possibly. I don't know for sure. It's not for sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, yeah. I mean, listen, I'll always Giants are my love. I watch them every Sunday.
Sure.
This Sunday, I will admit, I put the game down a few minutes before the end because it was just too painful to watch the last
I'm
five
going to be
minutes or
honest with
so.
you. I didn't watch it.
So I watched, and it was
I didn't watch
painful,
it.
and it was miserable, but I did watch most of it. But yeah, I'm with you. But towards the end of the year, especially playoffs, go Bills. Look, the Bills look great this past week. I mean, if you want to talk about something else that's exciting, the Bills Chiefs game was great. I don't know if you saw it at all, but
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Yeah, it's great.
Bills won by a touchdown. They look fantastic. They'll be right there. Look, Josh Allen. I know some people are down on them. You know, they had a few tough losses. You got Josh Allen. They'll be right there. Just low level
Oh,
analysis
yeah.
by me, but it's the truth. Josh Allen's a dog. He puts the city on his back. When it comes
Yeah.
to prime time, when it comes to end of the season, Bills will be right there in the mix. So yeah, I'm with you, Jaclyn. Go
I
Bills,
think if
go.
the Bills win, I think that's a win for Toronto, genuinely. You know, and the Bills
Yeah,
supported the Jays, right?
yeah,
When the postseason started, the Yankees fans are upset because the Bills were supporting the Jays. So Toronto's going to do that right back at them.
yeah.
Toronto's going to be supporting the Bills no matter what. Obviously, if the Giants were in it, it's a different story. But you know, they're not going to be in it, unlikely. So definitely going to be cheering for the Bills. And yeah, lots of Toronto sports talk are going to be continuing here in Blue Jays. It's sad, but we will get over this. The heartbreak will
Yeah.
feel better soon. Love this team. I'm so proud of what this team did all year. I'm gonna think back on it in positive memories now instead of aching with the World Series loss. It's gonna stick with us forever, and there's nothing you can do about that because that is what sports do. They stick with you and they haunt you. But you're also going to think about the awesome stuff that we got to see and got to see the city change overnight and see everyone become a Jays fan and tickets go up, which isn't great. Prices going up. But this season has been special, and I've been love talking with you about Owen and debating you and telling you how special this team is when you didn't think it was. So I love that all year, and yeah, definitely will continue that when the season starts. But for now
And
on, Jays off season, football, basketball, hockey, and I'm excited to
and
continue doing the pod.
And next April, May, Jacqueline, we'll be right back on here talking about our Jays again, full time, talking about this team, good, bad, or otherwise. We'll be back in a few months talking about this team. So, Jacqueline, it's been a pleasure the last few weeks coming on a lot for Jays talk. I'm
Yeah.
still happy to come on, once a week, once every other week,
Of
talk
course.
Giants, whatever. So they'll see my face a lot because we
We'll
still got
see
our
you.
Giants and hockey. So I'll be back on probably the next week or two. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we have
but
lots to talk about
we
still.
got we got hockey, basketball, Giants, so a lot to talk about. But listen, my final message about the Jays is we're still here. We're still here. We're still fighting, and hopefully they'll be back next year. And I hope they're competitive. Love the hat. Love it.
Thank you. Jays for life. Thank you all for watching. Whether you're a Jays fan, or if you're a Dodgers fan, here to roast me, go for it. Love this team forever. Love what this team stands for. Love every player on that team. Cannot wait for the 2026 season. The 2026 season starts now. Getting ready for it. Thank you all for watching. See you soon for whether it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey. I will see you all very soon. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Peace.